game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trev Scott, and with me, as always, is Ben Slinger.
Hello. What are we doing, Trev?
We're going to do something different. We're going to go 3-to-1 movie.
Oh, movie. All right. Okay.
Because we
Really
haven't done
different. Yep. So for those just joining, basically the idea is that we are going to each get a random movie, and we will either use one of the titles or maybe the entire premise of the movie to make a video game of, or maybe even merge them together if it strikes our fancy. So yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I have The Backup Plan.
I have House on Haunted Hill.
Ooh. Now, I prefer yours because mine's
classic.
a piece of shit.
Go on. Let's get a synopsis here.
When Zoe tires of looking for Mr. Right, she decides to have a baby on her own. But on the day she's artificially inseminated, she meets Stan, who seems to be just who she's been searching for all her life. Now Zoe has to figure out how to make her two life streams fit with each other. Yenna.
A Hallmark special coming this winter.
That's coming. C-U-M.
Inseminating this winter. Okay, House on Haunted Hill. Synopsis, for those who don't know, a millionaire offers a group of diverse people $1 million to spend the night in a haunted house with a horrifying past. So I just love the idea of it's a millionaire, but he just has $1 million. Like he only has $1 million. He's like, well, I got $1 million. I'm a millionaire, so I'm going to give it to someone for no reason. Okay. I without going into like obviously the movie, the full plot of the movie itself, because I don't remember it. Just that general idea of the classic. It's a very classic setup. Being paid $1 million to spend the night in a haunted house.
So one of the things I did actually like about House on Haunted Hill is that they sort of turn up there and he set up all these things to like scare people. And like then it turns out that when they venture deeper into the underground of the house, like they unleash something and there's like real hauntings that actually start happening. And I thought that's just right for a game sort of thing that you got these
set them up perhaps
cheap, nasty sort of, scares that become real sort of like you can tell when it shifts to, you know, these aren't the typical jump scares. These are actually, you know. Okay.
So could we do
terrifying,
a bit like, what was that multiplayer ghost hunting one that was there for a while?
Midnight Ghost Hunt?
No. The one before that, that got quite popular.
Yes, I know which one.
You know the one I mean. Maybe something like that where it's multiplayer but we're actually trying to like scare these people. Perhaps it's even in the setting of
Phasmophobia. There we go.
Phasmophobia. There you go. Perhaps even in the setting of like winning money. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's more almost like a reality TV show or something, or a game show where they are just so they have incentives then to like maybe the more rooms you investigate, the more money you're going to get or something, because you're running the risk then though of running into one, the fake prank traps that the studio has set up, and two, potentially actually unleashing the unearthly horrors of this place. And so just having that tension there.
There's something about like doing a roguelike in this sort of thing of the rooms kind of shift around, and that's sort of like, it's always the same sort of layout at the top, and then you get in deeper and it's like rooms start shifting.
Another thought I just had, and that it can utilize that. But if we're doing a multiplayer thing, maybe it's even like an Among Us kind of situation, like a social engineering kind of thing. But it's not that nobody starts off on the opposite team, but it's as you're exploring, if you do find one of the true ghosts, they can potentially possess you. And now your goals have changed, and you've perhaps got some different powers and things to be able to like take out the others. Because then that could lead to some interesting things of like, oh, well, yes, we have to explore new rooms in this house to make money because we're on this show or whatever it is. If we keep that conceit going, but you might want to go together to places to make sure that that if one person gets possessed, then the other person knows and can warn the others if they can get away fast enough. There's some interesting ideas there that could come out of that.
Yeah, so I do like the idea of when you do get to that sort of point down below, you can sort of make a choice at any time for your character to sort of stop exploring, and that's all the money they're going to walk away with. But is that risk versus reward? But for the ghosts, it's also how many can I capture the entire group and turn them all?
Yes, or it could even be around like that transfer of money. Like if you're gaining money by exploring new rooms, you're triggering off like fake skeletons falling from the ceiling and stuff. And every time that happens, you get like a bonus or whatever. But then if you become a ghost, for one, you lose that money. But two, then your money comes from the other people that you take out, perhaps like however much they've earned, you claim or something.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on, so if you take someone, like you're not also bringing them to your side, I don't think. I think it's more, there are specific, we might let more than one person become a ghost. Maybe it just depends on how many are in the group entirely. I do love that idea though, of course, because of course they look normal, and maybe unless they use their powers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could have some really cool, I'm thinking very Ghostbusters-ish look, like the librarian in Ghostbusters, where she looks very normal until she essentially turns around. Like, I love that idea of you come back into the room after exploring places, and someone on your team who was on your team is there, and they're just like, hey,
he's floating this far above the floor, and it's like,
well, maybe,
and then they touch the floor. Well, and it's sort of like, was that you jumping, or was that?
I think that's only if they've like if you walk through a wall, sure, obviously, like someone's going to notice that. Or if you go to attack with your ghostly, whatever, ectoplasmic powers, then I think like you get that real like glowy skull face appears. Essentially, you start seeing through them, and it's that very what looks normal turning into a Ghostbusters-esque ghost sort of transition. And it might be the last thing you see. Like if they get off a good enough hit, and initially it might be a one-hit kill. It's only if they graze you, and you might be able to get through a door and have a bit of a run away and warn someone or whatever.
I know there's something about you're searching stuff within rooms, right? And when you're having to search this stuff, it goes to a completely different view.
Yeah,
so you can't see who's coming up behind you and all that sort of stuff. You very still hear things, and that's where, you can hear the footsteps and stuff like that, but you may not.
Yeah. I like that you can hear the footsteps. I think if they do something ghostly, there is at least a hint, like there is sound effect hints. Like if they come through a wall next to you, then you might hear a bit of a
squelch.
Yeah, a squelch, exactly. But only if they're close enough, And they've probably got some, like, sensing through walls kind of abilities, I imagine, to be able to see where the other people then are then.
Yes. I see this as a 2D sort of thing, like Among Us.
Oh, really? I was thinking first person. I was thinking like that Phasmophobia sort of thing.
No, I like the idea of it, that when you go into searching a cupboard or something like that, it changes the entire screen. And then when you exit out of that, it goes back to, an above.
Maybe. I feel like you're not going to get the horror stuff though if you're just on a sort of above 2D. I feel like you need to be in that first person. And I think then when you're looking in a cupboard or whatever, I think it just like does a zoom, right? It does a camera move to just show, whatever you're searching.
Okay, so definitely not VR, definitely.
No, not VR.
Pancake version.
Pancake 3D, yeah.
Yeah, pancake first person.
Yeah. Because then, I think that's it.
I don't know whether we've ever used that term before, but pancake is one of those typical.
That's the term. That's the term that the VR heads use for non-VR games. Yes. I'm not sure if it's still in fashion or if we're behind the times. But
Oh, who gives a shit? It's Pancake. 3, 2, 1, movie.
Muffy. Underworld Evolution.
Backcountry.
Backcountry.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, mine's vampires versus werewolves, essentially.
Mine is a couple on a deep wilderness-like hike become hopelessly lost within an aggressive black bear's territory.
Ooh, but it's a werebear.
Mm. So
And
I like the idea of you're in maybe a 2-player co-op, versus an AI bear who can track you with like scent and all this sort of stuff. And basically it's just you and your slight bit of survival stuff trying to get out.
Okay.
Of a procedurally generated forest.
Yeah. I like the idea of kind of a short-term survival game. Like a bit of almost roguelike, or at least just run-based in that way almost. I guess the roguelike elements for a run-based game just are there to provide some variety and progression. But I do like that, where you're still doing some of the standard, like, survival type things. You've got stamina, you've got to potentially, like, build shelter or do a few things. But it's not like, oh, I'm going to build my whole camp and upgrade it over weeks and weeks. And,
No.
It's very much, this is going to play out in, like, half an hour.
Within each time that you play, there is like certain things that are going to be hidden throughout the thing. Like you may come across like an abandoned tent and all this sort of stuff. And there you will find things that you can take into your next hunt or into your next thing. So you start building up some of your pack. Well, the idea behind this is to be able to unlock some extra things. Like
I think
you
now get things, yes.
Yeah, you get an extra water canteen, so you don't have to be.
Yeah, well, I think what you do is at the very first run, you've got just a standard loadout. Essentially, you've got maybe like one half-filled thing of water and like a meter of rope, or I don't know, whatever it is each.
Yeah,
and then yes, as you discover custom special areas, essentially in this forest, like an abandoned tent or a cliff face or a
abandoned
cave
bear cave.
Yeah, exactly. Then that unlocks things that then when you do your next run, you can set your loadout. You've got some different options to start with, but you've got limited space, obviously, and weight. Yeah. So you're trading off these things there. But it might be like, oh, I've got a flare gun this time or something, and you can scare off the bear with that once.
You can Tetris that into your bag. Because that's one thing that we need to be able to have is different shaped things. So you may want to take that grappling hook so you can scale the waterfall instead of only going one way.
You know what I'm a big fan of? I don't know how well this works. The one time I've seen it done is in is it Kingdom New Lands or something? New Kingdom. It's like I don't know if you've played it. It's a 2D sort of base building, but not really. Where you play the like king on a horse and you essentially run back and forth in this 2D space. What I like about that is as you pick up coins, you've got your little bag up in the corner, but the coins drop in physically, like with physics, and you can only hold as many as. Like, if you try to put more in there and it's too full and they just slide out the top, then you just drop them again. So I kind of like the idea of a physics-based inventory system. So, if you manage to balance that grappling hook on the top, then, okay, you've got it for now. But if it could even be based on your...
It hooked into the side where you got your like straps. So it's like, yep, you've got that there, but the rope is trailing behind, and that bear, he likes rope. It looks like a snake.
And when you want to use something, you have to grab it with the mouse and like pull. I'm thinking sort of a 2D representation of your bag, but you have to like pull it out. No, I'm saying even to get it out of the bag. So if it gets hooked on something because it's under something and you
it'll
yank
pull
it out,
shit out.
It might pull other stuff with it. Yeah, like just to really add to that frantic survival kind of feeling. But one thing I was going to say is I definitely like a 2-player co-op, and I think you definitely want things that require the two people to do well or to do properly. So like maybe you can set up like a you can use the rope and some like old bottles that you found to essentially set up like an alarm system that if the bear comes past here, they'll do it. But like you have to each grab one end of the rope and tie it around the appropriate, find the appropriate place in the trees where they're close enough to do that and that sort of thing. And then go around and gather your stones to put in your little bottles or glass bottles or whatever to make
to put in your sock so that you can spin it round and stones in the sock, smack it over the bear's face.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the goal, I feel like there's multiple win conditions here. One is just escape potentially, like find the road or some sort of like a ranger station or something.
Yep.
The other is to, kill the bear. I think that's got to be a tough one. I think you're probably not going to be able to do that on your, your first loadout, but there's probably an achievement for doing it doing it with just the basic loadout.
There's not an achievement for it, but it's like, this is the, oh my God, they went too far ending, where you hunt down all the bear's family and splay them open for the bear to come home to. And it's like his kids are like
so you become
rugs
a
on the
bear
ground.
Serial killer.
Yeah. So you literally turn his kids into rugs,
right, in
his cave. Yeah.
And then I think another win condition is potentially just surviving.
And then cook up the entrails. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything
more? Do you fuck the corpse, Trevor? Like, where are we going with this?
You just went too far, Ben.
Maybe cut that. You just you were going on and on.
I saw the line and I walked up to it and didn't cross over it, and you just.
But you pointed at the line. You were like, "There's the line." It was very tempting.
You thought, this is hopscotch. I'm just gonna put my stone just on there, and you jumped right over it.
That's how you win.
Which means I've kept it in. Yes, you did actually hear it. I kept in thinking him saying, you should cut that out, but no, I didn't even do that.
No, I know he's terrible.
I'm lazy at editing.
I should know better than on your edit to say the things that will bloody make people dislike me. The other thing I was going to say, which seems pointless to talk about now, is that another win condition I think is just surviving long enough. Like whether it's a few days or whatever, like a search party comes and finds you or something. But again, I think it's difficult. I think this bear has your scent. Like you have to do some pretty, you have to play quite well to survive that long, whether it's continuing to move and like having them lose track of your scent because you cross a river or whatever and different things, but then you're cold and wet and you have, you might get hypothermia. Like, I think it's a hard, like hardcore survival in that way.
And you've got to be very careful as well, because as you're taking stuff out of your bag and if you lose it, like if the bear comes across it, he's now got some more stuff for his loadout.
That's it. Yeah. That's the thing. Once you've found all the different endings, then you actually get to play as the bear, and anything you've dropped that the bear has found, you get to start with. So,
but I'm saying AI also has a spear gun now.
The AI bear has figured out how to use a spear gun.
Exactly. He's very smart.
It turns out it's actually a Terminator.
Yeah. It's just an endoskeleton,
Yeah.
That's why we got Arnold Schwarzenegger in to voice the bear.
To voice the bear?
Yeah.
I'll be bear. Okay.
3, 2, 1 movie.
3, 2, 1 movie.
Okay. I've never heard of this movie before.
I have heard of this one. I think it's Zoe Saldana. Colombiana. It's very intense. I don't know if we want to do this, but anyway.
I think we're both going to be clicking again because Daniel Blake.
Okay.
We could just
take the title.
A middle-aged carpenter who requires state welfare after injuring himself is joined by a single mother in a similar scenario.
Yeah, it's a bit too serious for our. All right, let's click again
for our comedic podcast.
Mm-hmm. An affair to die for.
The Cokeville Miracle.
Cokeville?
Yep. I really don't care what this is about.
This is about. Just because the title.
They are literally like cokeheads that happen to during their high a miracle occurred, and therefore, something good happened.
So what's it called? The Cokeville Miracle?
I will read the synopsis for you.
All right.
On May 9, 1986, a small ranching community in Wyoming experiences a divine intervention when a couple
that's boring.
detonates a bomb inside a crowded classroom.
Okay. That's going even further.
What was yours about?
Sex. A weekend getaway for two lovers turns into a nightmare of psychological mind games when their infidelity is discovered. Is there anything in just the titles of these? I mean, obviously the Cokeville Miracle. I don't know if we want to go Coke heads. I feel like that's maybe, I don't know, a bit off. Maybe this is like...
This is the original
Coca-Cola,
place. Yeah.
Like, factory town.
Yeah. It's called Cokeville. Yeah.
It's called Cokeville. Almost everyone here works for the company. It's very exploitative, but they kind of have a community, and then the Lord of Pepsi appears. What's the miracle?
Well, the miracle is no one has actually died in this place for the last 3 years.
Okay.
And like,
even if the healing properties of Coca-Cola.
Even if there's an accident, like, everyone survives.
Okay.
Like, they haven't had a...
Is this a Coca-Cola company propaganda game?
No, because I think this is, at first, it seems like a blessing.
Right.
But it's like...
But 70 years on, when nobody still has died.
Yeah, and Anna is now approaching her 139th birthday and realizes, oh, fuck.
Something wrong.
As she's, like... Her bones are literally dust, and
she's somehow still.
She literally can't move. She's in bed and she's like, but she's still conscious.
So it's not okay. So they don't stay healthy. They don't it's just that the consciousness sticks around.
Yeah,
there's something in the sticky Coca-Cola that binds neurons together so that they never fall apart the way that death is supposed to make them do so.
I love this. I love this idea of this.
Where's the game though? What sort of game is this? Maybe this is like a very sort of simple game. Like we've created, an interesting world building backstory here, but maybe it's all just from the perspective of this woman in her bed, like in her bedside, as people visit her, and you sort of get a sense of what's going on, in this town by, the Coca-Cola foreman comes along from the factory comes along because, your husband still works there or something. Comes to see how you're doing because everyone's all happy in this town, don't you know? Coca-Cola deems that it must be so.
Oh, it's kind of like that, well, I always come back to The Simpsons where, that's that thing where Bart can read everyone's minds, and if they're not happy, then he turns them into something. That's basically what the Coca-Cola foreman is like. He can read people's minds, and if you're not happy, he'll make you live forever.
Represents the company. No, I think what happens is everyone still lives forever. This is part of what Coca-Cola does, or maybe it's just the Coke they drink in this. Maybe they've tested out a new.
This is the
Coke
actual original.
Town.
It's
the original recipe.
The original recipe, so it's actually still got coca leaves and real cocaine
and some sort of mind altering property that, for one, never lets your consciousness die, and for two, lets the Coca-Cola company read your thoughts.
Yes, and you play Gerald, the foreman.
You play the foreman. You're just going around monitoring everybody's thoughts.
You literally, your job is you go around and fill up all the vending machines while reading people's thoughts and finding out different things about their lives. And
okay, that's interesting. So it doesn't
it's kind of like Watch Dogs, but the little things sort of come up saying, such and such isn't happy right now.
It's interesting to have. I don't even know if you're the foreman. You're like the lowest ranked person who still has the chip or whatever, who has a high enough rank to have the chip to read people's minds, but you are so low level that yes, you're just going around filling all the vending machines.
Yeah.
And so you're just a regular
This
guy.
Is your first day with the chip.
Right. Okay. You just got a promotion.
From
assistant vending machine filler to chief vending machine filler.
I kind of like the idea of you go home and, you're talking to your partner and she doesn't realize that you've got this stuff now. She's surprised.
Right.
She's going, all that's on her mind right now is, the surprise birthday coming up for Gerald. And it's like, oh crap. Like I should have told her that I've got this power now. And then, that one of the kids is, didn't want to tell you about the D they got on their homework. And
yeah,
it's sort of like
classic.
these little classic scenarios of, oh, maybe I don't want to know about this.
So does this become the story of Gerald essentially like overthrowing or like realizing that the company is doing this evil stuff and that the reason everyone is so happy in the town is because, anybody who has thoughts against the vibe that they want or against Coca-Cola gets quickly, dealt with in some way. Maybe it's the other special recipe of Coca-Cola, which is like a brainwashing or like forgetting erases memories or something.
Yeah, don't drink Sprite. Don't
drink. No, it's Coke Zero because it's
it's Diet Coke because it's even worse than Coke Zero.
Well, I was going to say
sugar.
It's Coke Zero because it wipes out your memories. There's zero
okay.
left.
It's got zero caffeine, zero flavor, zero memories remaining. I like the idea of upper management. You can't read their thoughts because they've actually got a chip that actually blocks.
Or they just don't drink that. Like they know better. They don't drink the recipe that gets put in all the vending machines around town, and delivered to every person in town's house every week, by the cartonful.
Oh my God.
They know that's what
I'm literally seeing people walking down the street. They're the Coke man. They
like the milkman. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got it's very 50s style.
But it's literally people are having coffee with Coke. Like it is absolutely fucking disgusting.
It's not even coffee. It's just, they just have like boiling Coke.
Boiling Coke.
And put milk in it.
No, because they don't have milk because there's no milkman.
Oh, it's the
Coke man.
They just have boiling Coke and then they put some cold Coke in.
Yeah.
To like.
Just to sweeten it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. This is
Coke white. Coke white.
Oh my God.
Milky Coke. Oh my God. All right. Let's do one more quick one.
Okay.
Sharknado 4.
An officer and a gentleman.
And a Sharknado.
Ooh, okay. An officer and a Sharknado.
Yep.
I do kind of like that idea of someone who's just come back, from the war. They're just sort of settling in. Then this weekend, there's like the threat of a Sharknado. And they go, what the fuck's this? And it's like, oh, you haven't been stateside for a while. Like, here's what goes down. Like, this is
is there any, in case
Class
you can't
3 Killstorm.
In case you can't get the license, are there any other like dangerous animal based weather events that we could, like maybe a barricane if we want to go back to bears?
Barricane, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Perhaps like
Cyclopus, as in instead of an octopus, it's a cyclopus.
Yep. I mean, it could be just a plain old squid storm.
Yeah. I know. I keep on coming back to like cyclone, and I'm like, Cyclops. No, no, it's a cyclone. It's a storm with Cyclops.
It's just
it's unfortunately just called a cyclone.
It's still just called a cyclone. It's just like there's a hurricane, but it's just like it hurries a lot.
A cracone. It's a cyclone with a kraken.
With a kraken in there.
Jesus Christ, that is
just the tentacles just like coming out the top.
That's fucking scary. I do like barricane.
I'm trying to think of something for earthquake.
Birthquake.
A birthquake, just babies. Just babies spewing up from the earth.
Oh my God, that's so wrong. Babies coming out of cracks here, there, and everywhere.
Well, maybe we'll just finish. I think that's the end of the episode. If you want to find us online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. All of our socials are there. All of our previous episodes. except episode 300.
Yeah, because what the fuck? We'll one day work out what we're going to do with that.
We'll one day figure something out for 300. Maybe when we get to 400.
It feels bad because we did have the people from
we had
the
Inconsolables on, and it was a great episode, and we lost it, unfortunately.
I'll try reaching out to Brendan again and see if
yeah. But yeah, if you go and listen to some episodes and leave us a review.
If you like the sound of the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance, off of the album Containment Failure by the band Kuradust. Find it at kuradust.bandcamp.com. Download it for free today.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
Oh, and shit. I think I hear something starting. Yeah, it's a quail storm.
Ugh. Earth quail. Yes.
That's what happens after a big quail storm.
They're squished all over the ground.
An earth quail.